And we are live. It is Saturday, April 27th. Let's do some stuff. I need to wake up. I was out late last night and I was a little bit tipsy. Oh. So, caffeine it is. This morning I have Ghost Sour Green Apple, which is probably one of my favorite energy drink flavors. I don't necessarily condone or suggest energy drinks, but they are useful. So what we're doing this morning is a 3D camera track for my 1 second a day video project. And first things first, we have to choose a slide that we're going to 3D track. We have two options, really, technically three, but really two options. So we have this one, which is of my cats. We'll have to figure out how to dehaze this one and track it and maybe stabilize it a little bit too. It's actually probably doable. The challenge for this one specifically would be the reflective floor. We'd have to put the text in front of the cats and then get the floor to be and then get the reflection in the floor. That would be difficult. Then we have the easy cop out one, which is my office, because I moved my plant down here to get it in the direct light. This one would be stupidly easy to do, but I'm feeling cats because that's way more entertaining. And we've done the reflection like that before. It's definitely doable. It's just going to be difficult. So I guess we can try it. First, let's run it through the video AI. I know that's a scary word. It's a tool that allows me to like deblur and potentially dehaze. I wonder if it has an image enhancement feature. I use it to double my footage in size for shorts, since shorts are taller than they are wide. I could just film at 4K, I guess, but this is easier. So let's see if we can make this look a little bit better. It's already 4K, which is pretty cool. I noticed like a little bit sharper outside, almost no difference. We're gonna need to mess with some of this. Motion deblur. Don't want to add grain. Preset, let's see. I guess they don't have like a dehaze option, but we can probably get around that ourselves. So let's just not. I use that tool to upscale footage almost exclusively. I don't really use it for anything else. I don't really know how to use it for anything else. So let's see if we can track this. First things first, when we open a new document, we want to change the view transform to standard. Otherwise, it's going to try to do weird things. sRGB is good. And next, we just got to start tracking. And then we can always do color corrections and dehazing and stuff in compositing. So you'll notice, like, God, my camera lens is always foggy. So, like, this is probably a pretty easy point to track. Let's figure out which second we want as well. I think if we're a little bit more zoomed out, the easier it is to track because we have all the feet of the chairs and stuff. But the entertaining part already happened, which is here. So maybe like right before he stops. Do like to 143 and then start like 2 seconds earlier. It's 83. Just start around 80. That gives us plenty. So we only need 1 second of footage. We can just give myself a lot to work with if we really want to. I have the RAM for it to cache the whole video clip. Usually when you're tracking something like this, you want to track from the middle out, because that'll give you the most accurate track. So we can go ahead and like track this point, for instance. So if you track from the middle, the location you choose. So like, let's say you track from the beginning, now the software is interpolating that track for the next 100 frames-ish. Well, if I start at the middle, it's only doing half of that from the accurate pinpoint that you want. Oh, very good job. And then it did not. Interesting. I would think that would be a pretty easy one to track. The reason I want to track these specifically is because we need a floor plane. Sometimes I find that Affine works pretty well. That did not work very well. That worked pretty well. It seems like it loses it like right around 125. There we go. Give it a little more data to work with. This might be stupidly easy to track, actually. I think the hard part's going to be getting the reflections in the floor to look right. We have done it before. Oh, we have a very easy floor piece right here again. Ah, it goes out of frame. Lame. That's okay. We don't need the full range necessarily for everything. Let's see, does the light stay in frame? Track that pretty easily. Doesn't move that much either, which is great for us. Let's see, does this go out of, that goes out of frame. The chair does stay in frame. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything worth tracking on it. It's a little dark and a low contrast. We'll see if it'll work. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. There's like surprisingly few things to track in this scene. We're gonna have to get creative. I'm fortunate that we had enough cracks in the floor to work with. We may end up doing the cop-out plate. This one is gonna be tough. Could probably track this corner right here. Yeah, that'll work. Probably track this little corner. Probably track this little thing. No idea what this is. But if we can track it, who cares? It's starting to give us some data. Does that stay? Doesn't really stay in the shot. I was thinking maybe the placemat right here. We could definitely. We could do most of the shot with the playmat, I think. It's gonna lose it though, for sure. That's okay. As long as we get it for most of the shot. The other issues, we wanna track enough things to have depth in the scene. Like we want things further and closer to the camera so that it can actually measure the parallax. Would be ideal. So I'm trying to get a variety of things. I wish the bowl wasn't round. That would be a good corner to track. Oh, placement right here. That's not too bad. It's doable. What else we got? We could try to track this edge. Might be easy enough. Doesn't jump around. Cool. Oh, his tail never goes in front of the corner. So we can do that. So, we're running out of points to track here. This is getting a little bit challenging. Let's see if we can make it work with anything on the... Man. Can't do anything outside the window because then it'll just get crossed by the blind. We can continue to just add extra points though. Like the light fixtures here the whole time. I have chosen poorly for a shot the track. We can do more of the blinds, I guess. How long is that on screen? Not very. That's on screen for like half, so we could definitely track that for a little bit. And go one at a time as it goes off screen and be sad. So now I can scale it down. Track it for a little bit longer. It's probably good. Oh, what else can we track? It doesn't hurt to just always have extra data to help it figure out sort of what's going on in the scene. I don't think there's enough. Like, I don't think it's, I think this is fine. I don't think, like, the trim is covering this enough to cause it to have a bad track or anything. What else can we track? The new hip game show from Hasbro. I'm gonna get sued. I need some stuff like closer to the camera. That was a weird gesture. And let's see if we can get it to track one of these chairs. I don't think we can because we tried. Maybe we just didn't try hard enough. Like, we could probably get away with this corner. I think that's contrasty enough. Give it a shot. Yikes. Maybe try a farm. No, I does not want to track that. It's too noisy. Was not expecting that. Maybe we can get away with this chair over here. How long is that on frame? Not the whole time. Potentially doable. I don't know. It's very low contrast. Let's see how it does right now, and then we can just add more points and try to figure this out. I'll say like from 80 to 120, I guess. We'll refine things, hit solve camera motion. We got 0.54, that's not bad. We can set our floor to these three right here. And set up a tracking scene. Let's see what it looks like. See if it sticks. And then I also like to make my background image fully opaque so I can see what it looks like on the footage. That's not too shabby. I think that's passable, especially since we're only doing like a second of footage. Yeah. Make this bigger. See if there's any slippage. I mean, the 0.54 track accuracy is pretty good, especially for 1 second of footage. I think the hardest part with this entire project is definitely going to be the reflection. I think we're gonna have to make a floor texture and reveal the floor texture with a reflection mask like we did on the table that time. Y'all weren't here for that. What? Who am I kidding? That was not live on stream. I think the track works fine. So let's do some text. This month is April, so I'm gonna make a new collection titled Nope. Hide that, and then let's do some text. April. I am a fan of the Impact font, which is what I use for all of these. Rotate this. And then, so I want this rotated like this, or like up and make, like I'm definitely gonna extrude it after we simplify the text. So let's go ahead and make our 3D object, I suppose. For that, I do like to decrease the resolution of these. If you get onto like 6, nobody knows the difference. Sometimes even 4 is fine. I mean, this is gonna be like on Instagram. Nobody cares. I think 4. And you can't really even tell it's faceted. We'll do 6 just because fancy. I'm just gonna make my life hell a little bit. So then I like to convert to mesh and then do the extrusion manually myself, because this way I can clean up the geometry before I extrude. By clean up, I mean make it extraordinarily messy. And then we'll come back and do some stuff, because I have to do some things to make it easy to bevel. So we'll go ahead and make that cut and that cut, and merge some things. Looking good. N-gons are fine for objects that aren't deforming. Too many people are like, quads, 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 quads. They don't even understand why. You can do N-gons pretty much all you want for anything that's not deforming. And then you can even put N-gons on things that are deforming in areas that aren't deforming. People need to chillax. I wonder if we can just do a limited dissolve. Oh, we can. Okay, that means that wasn't significant. We'll go ahead and do that. And we'll go ahead and just make the L actually good. So then we'll go ahead and inset, and points like this right here are always really tough for this. Haven't figured out the best solution, but I do have a solution. And we're gonna inset this a decent amount. What we can do here is subdivide this, move this up, and then make this just like a little bit less sharp. And then the inset works a lot better. The reason we're insetting is so that the bevel is much easier. Get rid of that edge loop, it's unnecessary. Okay, so now we can extrude it. Probably somewhere around there would look good. Go ahead and save. I haven't even saved the track yet. Jeez. This will be 0983 April 01 effects. Let that save. I need to get in the habit of capturing a mirror ball of these scenes when I film them. I will go up and capture a mirror ball just to have something, but man, it would have been easier if I had done it when I filmed it. So let's go ahead and add a bevel. I'm still getting used to the whole little sub-menu thing of Blender 4. I'm not sure where okay, that's where it is, on the sharp 4. And we can just do one of these, do one of these. That'll fix that. Oh, and then we can also, we're gonna choose where we're beveling. That's always an important step here that I kind of forgot. We'll manually set the bevel weights. We didn't really need to inset the eye. That one's easy enough to bevel as is. It's literally just a cube. But that's okay. Same with the L. And it's not literally just a cube, but it might as well be. It might as well be. We're going for simplicity here. Hi, Alex. How's it going? That should be about it. And I need to go back and select these little inset parts. I don't know why I'm selecting the backs. No one's ever gonna see that. That down. Really, we just want the bevel to catch the light a little bit. Oh, this means my angle is correct now. That looks pretty good. Do you think we can go ahead and bevel these? Got any cool Saturday plans, Alex? That's looking good enough. So now we have to decide. Do we want this upright like this? In front of the cats, or do we want it like laid on the floor? I'm thinking personally, more like this. I mean, and that way the reflection will be easier to fake for sure. Didn't I do one laid down like this for April last year, though? Let's see, what was April last year? Oh, no, April was standing straight up. We might finish this one in like record time. This is going pretty well. that ends up being the case, then we can work on some other stuff for a little bit, because I've got pretty much until noon for this stream. We're gonna get Publix Deli subs. I'm gonna get a protein bar real quick though. I am hungry. Okay. Ah. I'm falling apart. Looks like it tracks pretty well. Man, I don't know. Do I not have enough memory allotted to this? I definitely have enough memory on my system. Let's set the memory cache limit up to 8,000. That should get us there. I have like 120 something gigs of memory in this computer. Figure out how to eat this without getting the crumbs everywhere. Too late. Damn. It did not go well. So you're gonna need to set this up in a few different passes. Morning. What are we blendering today? Give me 1 second, and I'll answer your question. I was eating a sad excuse for breakfast. So every month I do these 1 second a day videos, and at the beginning of the month I always do like a 3D track with some text for what month it is. Oh, not January. That's a good one. So we're doing April this morning, which we got the track done. Now we have to work on the integration. You get the point, man. 3D track text into a scene. And it's only for like a second, which is good. April was pretty good. And so the part we're going to struggle with this morning is going to be the reflections for sure. So this is our clip today, which is my cats. They saw a bee outside. And we got the text tracked. It's just going to be the integration of it. It's going to go and switch over to cycles, and we'll do GPU. Reflections like this are always really challenging because since it's not like a metallic surface, the reflections just kind of, like if you look at the cats, the reflections just kind of reveal the wood underneath. So I think what we're going to need to do is render out the text, render out a shadow pass, render out a reflection mask, and then render out a diffuse floor texture. Floor texture is extra difficult here because we're going to have to match up our floor texture with the real world floor with the lines. So I'm thinking we could probably fake a floor texture. It's grainy and blurry enough. And another option that we have is I can run upstairs and just take a picture of the floor and then try to match that, which could also work. I think just faking it though, just make a diffuse floor in Blender. So that way we can model the cracks to catch the light as well. I don't need. And let's go ahead and match up the door as well. So we'll add an area light that tries to match the door. Doesn't have to be perfect, just close. Because the cats are obstructing part of it anyway. And I don't remember if the light was on for this shot, but we might have an answer if we zoom enough far enough out. I don't believe it was. It doesn't look like there's any light being cast from above on these. I think it's just pure window lighting this morning. Are those my kitties? They are! That's 2 of them. We have 4. So that's Salem and that's Chowder. And we also have... I have better pictures too. And so that one's Chowder. And then let me see if I can find Sabrina and Asmo. That's a bad picture of Sabrina. I'll find a better picture. She's very majestic. Very photogenic cat. Which, Asmo and, which you haven't seen Asmo yet. Asmo and Chowder are mine, and then Sabrina and Salem are my girlfriend's cats. But since my girlfriend lives with me, they're all here. The gang's all here. That's Asmo. She's a beautiful tortoiseshell cat. I have a way better picture of her. If I can find it. And then Salem, right here, he's just a solid black cat. If I can find a good picture of him. Fortunately, in Google Photos, you can tag like faces of people and animals so that you can just search for their name and it'll come up with them. Unfortunately, I don't think I have Salem tagged. I can probably search cat in Google Photos though. And it'll come up with him. He's a sync cat. I'll show you what I mean by that, hopefully. He likes to sit in the sink. We don't like him to sit in the sink, but there's nothing we can do about it. He's not even phased if you turn the faucet on and like drip it on him. He doesn't care. He just likes to sit in the sink and he likes water. He's a funny cat. He fits, he sits. What's the name of the punching game I'm making? It's called Punch Bomb. It's technically a remake of a game I made forever ago for the Rift CV1 and the HTC Vive, but for Quest this time. But it's called Punch Bomb. Punch bombs. We're gonna get back to work on that on Tuesday. So the track works. Just to figure out the best way to handle the freaking reflections here. So let's go ahead and make a few. We have our foreground. Let's go ahead and make our let's make a few different render layers. So we need a foreground. We have a background. We'll relabel these though. This one will be shadow. And then let's give ourselves another layer, which will be reflection mask. And then make another layer, which will be floor texture. And I think that'll give us enough things to work with. Sorry if I go quiet for a second. I'm just like kind of working through this mentally in my head. So foreground, we want just the text, and then maybe the floor texture as like bounce lighting. So I think how this is set up already is, hold on, yeah, it's a mask layer. It treats it like a mask layer. So if we make our floor the same color as my floor, that'll help with the believability. And we don't need this extra light because I don't think any of the kitchen lights were on for this. I think it was pure window lighting. Which we can go ahead and add a couple area lights. This one is obstructed by a curtain. So I'm just gonna make a couple skinny ones. Which these might not even end up contributing to the overall thing. But they could. And then if we zoom out far enough, you'll see we also have these windows a little bit open. Do we have a release date? Unfortunately, it's sort of just like a when it's done kind of deal. I'm a busy guy, and I also work a full-time job, and I'm making the game completely by myself. So I don't know how much this window is actually going to contribute because we have the chairs and stuff in the way. We can go ahead and turn the strength of the light down. Also, it's not plural. I wonder if I don't think the website's still up. Yeah. This was the old logo. I'll probably update the logo before I release. I have enough stickers for it though, that I used to give out at like conventions and things. So now a lot of this, like brightness of the lights and stuff, is gonna come down to it's gonna come down to just like what looks right. Right now it's too bright. Let's turn this down to like 50. Oh wow, that's not in the right place even a little bit. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day. I appreciate the follow as well. I work on the game on oh yeah, we didn't track that far. I work on the game on Tuesday nights on stream usually. If you're interested in that. I think the next step is to work on modeling unlockable things. I think I want to take the text, maybe like move it back here some and scale it up. And that way it'll sort of like start slightly cut off and come in. Okay. Reflections. This one's gonna be a bitch. Just have to model the cats. Oh my god. Can you imagine? Do it, do it, do it. God, that would take a while. Fortunately, I don't think that's even remotely necessary. If I make this not match up with the horizontal lines, the track will be more believable. So I'm gonna rotate this some. Maybe even the smaller our reflections are, the easier this is gonna be to make convincing. Make the cat's gloves you can hit with. And then we'll make this look like objects that are, I'll duplicate this. I will make these look like they're scattered about a bit. Nice. So let's work on the comp and then which on a reflective surface like this, the shadows aren't even really going to be that visible. It's definitely more just reflection. So we'll want the occlusion for sure. With this project or with the game project? With this project, it's the reflective floor. With the game project, it's just everything, I guess. Finishing. Making it feel as good as possible. I might not even need a shadow pass because this is so reflection based. We will want an occlusion pass for sure. I'm just gonna be occlusion and reflection. I'm gonna go do something fancy. I'll be right back. Oh man, I don't even remember that stream. What I was doing. Oh, you can see everything on this. Have a good day, Azrael. So what I was doing, oh my god, Google's talking to me. Was if you take a fully reflective sphere and take a picture of it, you can use that for environment lighting. So this sphere is very dusty, but it should still give us like a good little just extra bounce, like fill lighting for this. So I went upstairs and took it in location. My automatic payment to Xfinity is processed. Oh boy. Xfinity is the worst fucking company in the universe. Oh. From the right angle. This is about right. Oh no. Did I have the lights on? Balls like the thing in HDR. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. I'm gonna go get another picture of it because I don't think the ones I got are gonna be usable or correct. Maybe. I don't know. And then traditionally what you do to make an HDRI, like this is like old techniques, you would take pictures of the sphere at multiple exposures and then mix them together into an HDRI. Nowadays they use like 360-degree cameras to get way higher quality things. I think this will probably be close enough. Might not even need it because like the shadows here already. Are those cats or dogs? Cats. Mr. the Hedgehog. That hedgehog. I'm gonna take another picture. I'll be right back. You like cats? I like cats too. I guess that's why I have them though. Okay, so now let me refresh my Google Photos. We'll download this image. Open up Photoshop. Hang out here for a second while that opens up. How's it going? What's new? Put that in. Oh, and we're good to go. This is my dirty ass kitchen floor. We have a robotic mop that goes through and mops every single night, and the floor is still just always smudgy as hell. So easiest way to do this, to get it perfectly square, is going to be with rule guides. And then what we can do, just drag it out like so. And do a crop. And then it's not really necessary to crop out the other sides. It's aight. I can go to... And just a JPEG is fine. We're just using this for like slight fill lighting. So we'll just say dining room fill. So we're gonna take this, go back to Blender, go over here to, you'll find out in just a second what I'm doing with the ball. It's not gonna be perfect, but I mean, this is for like 1 second of footage in a video. So we plug this in and then change this little drop down for the mapping to mirror ball. And then change our camera, let me save real quick. Change our camera to not transparent. Oh. Oh, I have to actually turn it up. So it can sort of map the view from which we're going to like a 3D environment kind of deal. It's like from here, I think what we want to do, there's my cat who wouldn't leave me alone. So we can take our shader editor, go to world, input, texture coordinate generated, vector mapping, and we can rotate this. So it's not perfect, but it'll give just like a little extra fill lighting. Oh, we also need to rotate this around. Whoops. 180. Something like that. Try to get this down so that the window lines up. And then that'll just like act as some extra fill lighting from the house. I get that it's very ugly and grainy or whatever, but again, that's not ever gonna be visible to whoever's watching this. It's just gonna help fill in the shadows a little bit. Which for that seems like it's doing a pretty good job. So now, oh, the part I'm dreading, the hard part. So the shadows are incorrect. That's not what we want. We want reflections. Reflections like this are extremely difficult. So what we're gonna get to do, am I happy with this text? That's a question. So make a new material. This will be text material. Then we're going to duplicate our foreground. First of all, I want to take the lights out of the foreground, put those under the scene collection. But we'll duplicate our foreground. And we'll call this text mask. And this will not show up at all under this pass. So under the foreground, it's not going to show up under the shadow pass. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. It's not going to show up under the foreground. It's not going to show up under the shadow. It's only going to show up under the reflection, and it's only going to be indirect. And this is going to have a new material called text mask, and this is going to be a solid emission. Under the reflection mask, we don't want the foreground, we don't want the background, we don't want the nope. We just want a plane. We want this to be solidly reflective. Oh wait, no. Yeah, okay, this is correct. And then for the mask, we don't want any of the lights or anything either. So we're gonna make a new collection for our lights. And then we also need to be able to turn off the HDR for different render layers. We don't need it to show up in the glossy anyway, I don't think. So we're just using it for diffuse fill. But I do think there's our reflection mask. You mess with the roughness on this till it looks right. We can always mess with this later as well. Like 0.25. It's probably fine for now. So that's our reflection mask. Our foreground is gonna have the lights. Oh shit. This plane needs to go under a new collection called reflection mask. So then under foreground, we don't want the reflection mask. The background should be indirect only. Lights are on. Looks good. Shadow. I guess we do want this pass. Just for the occlusion. So for our outputs, need to figure out where that is. There it is. We want to turn on occlusion as a pass. I think we're just going to do occlusion and reflection and call it a day. For the reflection, we can probably get away with just copying this color right here, or this color right here. It'll probably look fine. We'll try it in a second here. So for our shadow pass, we have the occlusion. Foreground, just the text. Shadow, we have occlusion. We have our reflection mask. And we have our floor texture, which may not even be necessary. We'll find out in a little bit. So I'll actually nix that for now. Then let's do a test render. And then composite it, of course. We'll hit F12. I'm gonna turn this down to like 60% scale, or 50%, yeah, 60% scale, so we have a little bit of a buffer in Premiere. But we don't need this to be 4K, that's too big. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of steps to this. It's to make something that looks convincing. So here we can change the scale down to like 60% and it'll render a lot faster. Footage being grainy and kind of shitty is going to work to our benefit. We don't have to add too much detail to the ground. Render in layers. Yeah, so you can set up different render passes. So we have a foreground, a shadow, and a reflection mask. Because I told it to do that. I'm gonna lower the sample count because we don't need it. I'm gonna change this down to like 256. So we have the denoise, and that does a pretty good job. So then we're gonna take this and composite it all together in the node-based compositor. Do I always change to the latest version of Blender? I usually do, personally. So you'll notice this looks bad. That's because the defaults for compositing for a scene are not great. So I'm going to go to the compositor, and we're going to turn on the backdrop. Put that up in the upper left-hand corner so we can keep a good view. The shadow, you never want to alpha over. If anything, you want to take the back plate and do curves. and then use the shadow, or in this case, the ambient occlusion. As a mask. Which, for the ambient occlusion, we're going to alpha that over to get a better mask here. So we'll do a color. I don't know where alpha over is. Color mix, alpha over. So we'll alpha this over white. And then invert it. And use that as a factor for our curves. So now we can just like darken this to add the occlusion. It's gonna be subtle. Cool, that's step one. So now the reflection. So we're gonna go ahead and save real quick. Duplicate our foreground, and we're gonna use our reflection mask here. And for that, we'll do a color mix. And for this, we do want to mix this as well. Oh my god, that did not click the right thing. And then use this as a factor. And we want to grab like this color. How's it going, Affy? Which at the end of the day, I do think we're gonna need to have like a texture for the floorboards. Oh, we want to do the reflection before the occlusion, though. So we actually want to plug this into the occlusion, and then into the alpha over. Which is a good start. Looks surprisingly decent. Once we add the text in. Let's get that a little bit darker. So right off the bat, I'm thinking the reflection needs to be softer. Let's work on that a little bit. Put up to 0.35. And I do think we're going to want to make a texture of some sort for the floor for the reflections, rather than just using a solid color. It'll make it a lot more believable. That's not bad though. I think 0.35 is a little bit much. I'm gonna tone it back down to 0.3. That's starting to get into passable territory. Maybe like 0.315. Looks pretty good. And considering it's only on screen for like a minute of an a second of an Instagram video, I think it's passable. I think we can do some things to improve it, but it's definitely passable. Especially once it is tracked with the camera. Helps with the believability a whole lot. I think we just need to add some wood texture to the, or like some fake wood texture to the reflection color, which is where our, we're gonna add another render layer. I didn't want to do it, but we're gonna do it, darn it. So we will duplicate the background and call this matte floor. And then we'll say, make a new layer and call this floor texture. And for this one, we just want the lights and the matte floor. And this one, I mean, its own material. It's not going to be a shadow catcher. It's going to be completely matte. Itchy nose, and I prefer to take care of that off screen. Okay, so I did take some pictures of my floor, or a picture, I guess. Which can give us a good idea of what the floor texture kind of looks like. Notice all the cat hair everywhere. They're shedding their winter coats hard. So you make a couple wood textures and blend them together. From this video, if I use too high detail, it's gonna look bad because the video is grainy and shitty. And that's already almost passable. I just want to add like some detail, I guess. Oh shit, what's happening there? You have to make a grainy floor. Yeah. And, well, a lot of this is, film grain. I might just not worry about, because from a distance, when you zoom out, so honestly, we can just make like a splotchy floor. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. I don't know what's going on there. That's interesting. Let's take a look. Not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. Bam, right there. Okay. Why is that having such an issue? And the other issue we have is the haze. Definitely had some fog on my camera lens when I shot this. Otherwise, this would be about black. So I think we're gonna do for that. I'm not used to the new menus yet. Is just move the black point in a little bit. Oh, that's way too much. That helps. Probably want to match the color closer to where the text is. I think we also let's bite the bullet and make our floor texture. And the easiest way to do that, because who cares, is just a bunch of mix nodes. just sampling different colors from here. Or even from my, nah. If we sample colors from here, I think we'll have a better time. Because this is in context. So like they're slightly different. We can make them even more different if we need to. Sometimes I find it a lot easier to work with it if we just plug the noise in itself and then the different colors. Go ahead and make this like a pretty fine. And then we'll up the distortion a little bit as well. We're just trying to get some detail in the floor. So then we'll do a vector mapping. And I think it's gonna be on the x-axis. And we can rotate this to match the scene. Again, I mean, this is, the colors are going to be very close. We're just trying to get some detail. And then we can do a mix with another noise texture. That's literally just going to be like a splotchy grain kind of deal. So get rid of the distortion. Scale this down. Plug this in and then grab another color. And then do converter, color ramp, up the contrast of the noise, and up the contrast of the grain. And that's just giving us some nice detail. I think what we can do is probably make these a little bit higher contrast. This one, probably just pick directly from. Maybe get some bigger splotches in there too. So we can do color RGB curves kind of deal. Because we don't want to just like mix in big splotches, we can make this splotchier by taking another noise texture and using it as the factor. Let's see what this looks like. Probably make this guy a lot smaller. and then oblong. Just add some variety. Because if we do that like a lot, you'll see like it has a lot of variety. Again, darken one, maybe even increase the contrast a little bit. We can do that again with a different noise. Just change the scale. Maybe duplicate the vector mapping. And just offset it. And then this one we can brighten a little bit. Maybe make this noise like even bigger. That could work as like a noise texture, like a floor texture kind of deal. So then go ahead and go through all these layers and turn off the matte floor. Oh, my hair is a disaster. Then we can take our floor texture and plug that in to the color here for the reflection. And that just breaks it up some. We can probably scale that, like squish that in a little bit more. I think the grain's a little bit oblong. And also, realistically, the grain wouldn't cross that line. Fix that. Let's see how well this tracks. Since we're using object coordinates, what we can do is separate out individual planks. And then move them in edit mode, or change their origin location. So it'll offset the object coordinates for each one. let's see how well this tracks first, and if the planks actually stay tracked well enough for that. Not looking too good for the home team. Ah! Maybe. We just like move this slightly. So the reflection isn't that big. So we can honestly have an easier time matching the planks if we make this match the just where the reflection is. Oh, that's bad. We only really care about separating the planks out that are like directly affected by the text. So right here. You're back. What's up, Jolly Bee? That's another plank. What am I doing today? So I do this 1 second a day video project every month, Jolly Bee. I'll show you an example. And for every month, for the first second, I put a 3D tracked text on it. I'll show you some examples, and that's what we're working on today for April. Because I gotta put that whole video together soon here. So like, here's an example where I 3D tracked November on my kitchen table. Or October was a good one, where I put it right there. August, July, June, May, April. And then, I mean, the rest of the video is like 1 second of every day of the month. And then at the end of the year, I take these and put them together into the whole year. It's just a fun way to document the year. So right now, we're working on adding April to this footage. It's going pretty well. Right now we're working on some floor texture, and I need to break it up based on where the planks are. So now, let's make sure that this stays properly tracked to the seams. Looks like it does a pretty good job. Good enough, at least. Shelter in. What does that look like on YouTube? Oh, it's a box and a cat. That's cute. I have a restream chat up to read chat, and a lot of times like custom emotes from Twitch and YouTube don't really show up there, which is unfortunate. Right now I'm just matching the wooden planks of my kitchen floor, or dining room floor, so I can separate them out to make the wood texture more believable. This is a whole lot of effort, I understand and realize, for a stupid second a day video, but I have fun with it. It's always a neat little, every single time I do this, it poses a new, unique challenge of some sort. We're trying to match the planks wherever they may be. Is that one right there? I think it is. I'll just do this. Oh, what was the laugh emoji for? Okay, so what we can do is separate this plank out, for instance, and then just click somewhere and say set origin to 3D cursor. So now if we render, we go to our, oh, I feel dumb. Oh, I feel big dumb. I did this on the wrong layer. That's like, we can just duplicate it. We did that on our background, which is supposed to just be a plane. Now for our floor texture, that's what we're working on. Yeah, I fucked that up big time. How long I've been using Blender? 2006. So I guess about 18 years. It's pretty good. Alright, so let's go back to our floor texture. Oh, we want to make this not a shadow catcher. And then make this our floor texture again. So we're using object coordinates for this, so I could have sworn changing the origin of it. Oh, it did. It did offset it. Nice. Didn't do a whole lot for us. It does break up that though. So if we move the origin around, it will add like plank seams where the noise doesn't match up. Any advice for someone that lost his spark when Blender? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So then we can make, so we can go to our shader editor. And I use Blender for a living at my day job, so I have to use it every day. I don't really have a choice. And then stuff like 3D tracks like this are just fun for me. So we're gonna make this a little group for our wood texture, and then we can make a duplicate material this way. What do I like about 3D? I think it's just fun. Where we can like make a couple of the planks like a little bit darker. This is going way into detail at this point. I think. Yeah, there's no like seam there. So now this one can set the origin over here. This is like a stupid hack for this, by the way. Just make it a little bit brighter. So now it'll end up looking like planks. I'll match it a little bit better. What do I like about 3D? I just think it's fun. I mean, you can make pretty much whatever you want, whatever you imagine. I think the creative aspect of it is super fun, and it's always every different project does its own unique challenge, and I really enjoy that as well. Where's the next seam? What do I do as a 3D artist at my day job? Nothing super interesting. Let's see, so we can move this one. Just a little bit off color. And we have kind of made a fake wooden floor. And I do think we need to rotate this wooden floor a little bit. So we're gonna go into our node group. And what we can do for our object coordinates is add an empty. So what I do for my day job,
in 1994,
I make animated promotional videos for an automation distributor. So like here's an old
Click
example.
PLC from Automation Direct has
I do like these
PLC from
marketing
Automation
videos.
Direct has everything you need to get started built into a super compact, inexpensive unit. This incredibly capable PLC has
This one's old.
models
This one's
built
8
in
years
on it,
old. Damn.
COM ports, battery backup, real-time clock, removable terminal.
There are more
cards,
recent
easy wireless
examples.
service,
I
and
like this
dozens
one.
of add-on modules, so you can expand your system quickly and easily. And speaking of easy, the free programming software has a small, easy-to-use instruction set with items.
I liked how these buttons and things turned out too. I thought that looked really
Measure
nice.
analog voltages and temperatures, or you need to monitor and
chain is
control
pretty
other
cool.
process devices. The Click PLC is more than items.
Yeah, that
Measure
shot right there
analog
where the
voltages and
object with the
temperatures,
chain flies
or you need
out.
to
I like that
monitor
one a
and
lot.
control other process devices.
That's what I do pretty much all day, every day. And then also, we sell enclosures for things, but oftentimes these enclosures are too big. That's actually a photograph. Oftentimes these enclosures are too big or impractical to ship into the photography department, so we'll do like CG renders for those parts instead of photographs. Which again, some of these are photographs, some of them are renders. I'm trying to find ones that are guaranteed to be renders, but it's been a minute. Enclosures are used for like putting PLCs and electronics in your warehouse or in your factory to keep everything nice and organized and safe. So like you would house like your electronics inside of this box, and it would keep them safe from being tampered with and stuff. And also just good for organization. That's a render. Yeah, so oftentimes when they're like impractical to bring into the warehouse, we'll do a 3D render of them instead of photographs. So the trick here, this is a cool trick. If you drag an empty, you're afraid of making your own projects, you don't think you're good enough, should you do more tutorials? I think tutorials are fine for like learning the interface, but once you know how to navigate the interface enough, I would say just come up with like a small project. Definitely don't go out of scope or else you're gonna discourage yourself. Just like a small project, like I wanna make a car, or I wanna make like a table scene with like a cake on it or something. Just a small project of some sort, and force yourself to learn every aspect of that project rather than just continually following tutorials. Because if you fall into the tutorial trap, you'll learn a bunch of very specific steps to do very specific things rather than learning to problem solve on your own, and that ends up being its own disaster. So if you use the object texture coordinates rather than using its own object, you can use a different object. So now, for instance, I can rotate the wood grain using this empty object here. So I can match up with my planks. The only downside to that being, now we have that where it crosses over. Damn it. What's the rotation on this? I'll just rotate the object coordinates. Minus 6.5312. I do stand by that trick, but it's not good for our current situation. Where we want the seams. So instead, we're going to do a vector mapping before all of these vector mappings. Or maybe even just, it's not necessary. Which direction do we want to rotate this? Man, this is a tough problem. Here's an idea. Since we're making different plank materials anyway, we can Here's what we can do. We can plug this vector into all the other vectors. And then if we offset the location on this, it'll offset the location of all of our little noises, but then we can make a group input. Add an input socket and call this offset and make it a vector, and then just plug it into the location here. So now for each of the individual materials, so if we have this plank material, and then that way we can still do our object coordinates to get the rotation right. So now the rotation is correct, and then for each of our individual planks, we can offset. So I can select this guy. We can change the offset to whatever we want, just to break it up. Is it best to be specialized or generalized? Depends what you want to do. I do think I'm not like a visual effects industry expert. I haven't worked at any big studios or anything. I know a lot of big studios prefer specialists for certain things, but if you want to work at like a smaller studio and you want to have your hands on more things, if you enjoy doing more things, you want to be more generalized. Those are very clearly two different planks. I like being a generalist because then I can do my own projects. Oh, without relying on anybody else. Hello. Make that a little bit different. Offset it a different amount. We have kind of made a makeshift, shitty wooden floor for our floor texture here. Let's see how that looks once we render it. What am I up to? I'm doing a 3D camera track of the text for my 1 second a day video. I'll show you an example here in a second after this pops up. In a second. Sound is too low. It looks like the levels are fine. Maybe you need to turn your volume up. My sound is hitting like the yellow levels on the microphone. It should be fine. And then if we offset the location on this, it'll offset the location of all of our little noises, but then we can make a group input. Yeah, it should be fine. In general, for vocals, you want to be between -12 and -6. It's hitting at where your peaks are, and it's hitting that, so I think it's fine. So now we got some nice wood grain in our reflections. So what we're doing is I do these 1 second a day video projects, and every month I track different. This has nothing to do with my game. I do these 1 second a day video projects, and every month I track what month it is in the first slide. So I'm doing April's right now. This has absolutely nothing to do with the game. And then I take all of the months and put them together at the end of the year to make so then I put it all together at the end of the year to, it's a fun way to document like what happened that year. 5 commanders.
All day though, not
Grab them for parts. The most clever. Oh my goodness. Like February. So it's just a fun way to document the year. Talk about insult. Don't know how.
got right.
There's a lot of Magic the Gathering last year.
Nothing.
I'm the Juggernaut. Crazy dude. Guilty. A lot of cats in the video. How did I put the month in the video? That's what we're working on this morning.
I can explain to you what.
You did it! Oh, that was that was my first date with my girlfriend.
Get him in there.
Awkward. And so that's the idea. I do this every month, and then I put it together at the end of the year. And so right now we're doing the month of April, which to do it, we already did this morning, but you'd select different like high contrast points on the video, and then the software tracks those points. Wow, that is not matching up. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, so the software tracks those points. And then once you have enough points in the scene, it can figure out the parallax of the points. And figure out sort of where things are in 3D space. So if I go back to the foreground here and hide the floor, you can see like it sticks to the floor now. Which that's the most important part of the illusion, is getting a good track. Then the rest of this, like the lighting, the shading, the reflections, that's all secondary to getting a good track. Which then, like for mixed reality and stuff, like on the Oculus Quest, the Quest does this in real time pretty much, which is insane. Like most VR headsets do this in real time now, which is insane. But that's the gist of it, is you'd pick a bunch of points in space, it tracks them, and then it figures out the difference of their movements and the parallax to figure out like how the 3D scene is set up. It's a whole bunch of complicated algorithms that are beyond my comprehension. We also want to set this to 30 frames per second. Do you think Blender is a bit behind in this? Nah, I don't. Blender is actually very good at 3D camera tracking. The real time, it's different purposes. This is for a visual effects shot. Well, like the slam tracking that the Quest does is really good for what it is, but like augmented reality stuff doesn't stick in 3D space perfectly. Like there's some slippage. If you want it to stick perfectly, you gotta do like real tracking with actual like good attention to detail. There's actually a little bit of slippage right there. It looks like it's fine for what I'm doing. For the most part, it sticks. But and then I guess like shows and stuff using like the tracking volumes that they have these days, and then tracking like Unreal Engine stuff to their camera in real time is pretty cool. Have I tried stereo layers in VR? I have not. I don't have like the fancy equipment to do like real time like with a camera. That's expensive. That's ending up a little bit dark. Overall, looks decent though. Not bad. It's a component that can show a widget in full quality. It's rendered separately. That's cool. I'm gonna need to brighten that some. Okay. If it's rendered on a separate layer, I guess you can't have like other objects go in front of it. Like within the 3D world. Because I would love to render my like background video screens in my game at full quality, but I just need some grain or degrain this footage and then regrain it. That's what we can do. Let's open up Premiere. I have some absurdly good denoising software. I don't know if the grain's even really showing up on stream since YouTube compresses the video so much. Okay, I want this one. So what you do is you select like a noisy area. It'll tell you to move it around till it's uniform enough to use as a noise sample. And you hit build profile, profile check. It'll show you what noise it's sensing. And then you want some grain. So this is just the profile. So then if you go to adjust and preview, it gets rid of most of the grain. Let's hit apply. Much better. So we can do file, export media. Save this as denoised. Hit export. Oh, I lost my music. It sounded so quiet. Oh shit, it's past 9. I gotta feed my cats. I'll be right back. Ah, man, I'm tired. I was out late last night. So now we should be able to just hot swap the footage with the denoised. And that should match up a lot better. Our little floor texture is even a little bit strong. We can adjust that here. Just bright, just lower the contrast a little bit. Until it about matches. Wait for it to update every time. It's very slow. That's a little bit too much. Yeah, I think the crux of the issue is just the texture. I'll work on that some. I may, once we get this done, I may end stream early. And just work on my YouTube short. I have a new YouTube short I'm working on that goes over my process for making stylized explosions for VR. That's what I'm working on for most of the day today, but that'll be off stream. Yeah, I think our texture is just too high contrast. We need to make it muddier. make it bigger and lower the detail on the noises. So just watching it a little bit muddier. I'm not getting a lot of detail in the footage, so we don't want a lot of detail here either. How's the game going? Any updates? I mean, it's still like past couple streams we've worked on some pretty important things. It's all stuff that's behind the scenes, but like I worked on mostly bug squashing. I was having an issue where sometimes when it spawned multiple, they would spawn overlapping, and that was an issue. And then I also fixed the issue where things would spawn where ones that you punch that split out can potentially split. So I fixed that. Arvin. Making a VR game where you punch things. It's currently my most viewed short is about it. It's a VR game where you punch things. So I'm making a VR game where you punch things, and I have a big problem. In the game, you're supposed to punch these, and you're not supposed to punch these. And every time I spawn an enemy, these have a 95% chance of spawning, and these only have a 5% chance of spawning. Because I want players to punch. Doesn't really show much gameplay, I guess. Punching things is fun, what can I say? But because it's just a probability, there will still be times where a bunch of these spawn in a row, and the player just kind of stands there staring at them, not punching anything. And when you're developing a game, whatever can go wrong will go wrong for the player. So to fix it, will I migrate to UE 5.4 for mobile HDR? I'll probably end up migrating specifically because of the improvements with render speed. I don't really see a need to use mobile HDR or anything else. I'm happy with how the game looks. I'm not the kind of person who always needs like the latest, greatest, blah 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 blah. I just want it to work, and I do think 5.4 will be worthwhile, specifically for the render speed improvements. What they mean by render speed? They improved. Where is it? On CPU and GPU threads, they reduced render time by 50%. So like render thread time reduced by 50%, GPU time decreased by 25%, which means way better frame rates with way less effort. In game, not while developing. Like they've optimized the engine a lot for 5.4. I will probably upgrade once they release the Oculus build of 5.4. They haven't done that yet. I always use the Oculus build of things. Although I guess people on this thread are saying they didn't really get improvements. I guess it doesn't really improve draw calls. Extremely conditional. I don't know. 5.3 does everything I need it to. I will probably upgrade to 5.4 just to have the latest render improvements. Okay, that matches a lot better. Wait for bug fixes before migrating. Yeah. I would say this looks passable. Maybe darken the text a little bit. Like mess with the material some. Ooh, I could even... And then we can go ahead and render it out. And see what it looks like. I wonder if they have like a grain tool in the Blender Compositor. I don't use the Blender Compositor that often other than when I'm doing these. They have a denoise. Probably not as good as Neat Video. So now we just choose where we're rendering this out to. I'll put this under editing drive, second a day, April. And go. Oh, I forgot one last step. So we do an undistort, but we want to redistort the footage altogether at the end so it doesn't fuck up the corners. Oh, I guess the undistort was correct. Because that is now fucking up the corners. Okay, never mind. I guess they changed some things in 4. This is gonna take a while. This is an image sequence. After we get a few frames, we can see what it's looking like. And I am hungry. We're getting deli subs for lunch today. When you set visibility on hidden, is it still being rendered? While set collapsed, it is not. Are you talking about in game? Like in Unreal Engine? And widgets and everything? I don't know the answer to that. I would hope it would be optimized enough to not still render it while it's hidden. I don't know the technical answer to that. Well, while this is going, I can work on typing skills. Ah. Eh, 114, that's not bad. One 36. They saw a bee outside. It was really funny. Man, I am still waking up. We went to a baseball game last night. I don't even understand baseball, but it was fun to go hang out with friends. We were out late. And I drank a lot. Not a lot, but I drank some. I had like 4 drinks. They were weak drinks, but still got a little bit tipsy. And then got home like at 1 a.m. Waking up this morning was tough. Yeah, sorry, I don't have much to say. I'm just kind of chilling here, reading through. I got an email of my summary of my visit to the cardiologist the other day. I'm just reading all of my numbers and stuff. I guess we can go ahead and open After Effects and plug in the image sequence just to see what it's looking like. I would plug it into Premiere, but it's more difficult to reload to get new frames in Premiere than it is in After Effects. I can't believe next week is already May. That's wild. This year is flying by. Getting there. Ah, man. Sleepy, sleepy. looking good. We have like a little more than 2 seconds worth of frames that it's rendering out currently. Just taking a while. I can't play games while it's doing that because it's eating up too much GPU bandwidth. I think I always do Tetris. Ah! Oh, I screwed this up. That's okay, and we'll figure it out. I need a... Yeah, there we go. This is rough. Yeah, I screwed this up too bad. Oof. So people who can do like an entire 40 line in like under 20 seconds, which is nuts to me. If you get really good at finesse, I guess that's how you do it. At this point, what the fuck? I did not press that. I thought I would have been done by now. I guess I'm on 33 out of 40. I've gotten sub 1 minute before, but it was very hard. Well, just give me a piece that I can use here. That'd be cool. 122, that's embarrassingly bad. It's been a while though. Oh, it's lagging a little bit from the render. It's kind of funny. Not only do you have to figure out the best place to put the piece, you have to figure out the fastest way to get it there. Oh man, that was bad. better. It's a little better than last game. Let's see what our thing's looking like. I'd say it's looking pretty cool. I mean, we need to wait for it to zoom out a little bit more before we know. Fuck. Oh, I just screwed that up. This is such a bad run. I'm gonna force myself through it. Fuck, that didn't go all the way that I wanted it to because of the fucking render. Yikes. This is embarrassingly bad. Oh, God. It keeps not going quite as far as I need it to, because it's lagging because of the render. Probably the worst run I've done in years. But at least I have an excuse. I know what I can work on while we wait. Okay, it's already basically where I need it to be. So that's the factor. Nice. So it looks like. I think it's passable. So a little bit of slippage. I mean, also don't think it's enough to worry about. I think it looks fine. This is taking a super long time. Oh, weird. Jumping right there. Definitely some slippage. It's only for like a couple frames, it looks like. And it sort of corrects. And we'll just, you can just avoid using that part.
This is what Chamoy looked. The track looked like it was matching so well in Blender, but it definitely jumps here. I wonder if it's just that one little part. I guess we'll find out the more it renders. Ugh. Let me escape out of that. I think like it's just that one little area kind of jumps. I wish it would. Oh, I can. I don't know why it's taking forever. It's because I have the fucking compositor open. Okay. I think. Certainly not perfect. There's definitely some slippage. Is it enough to matter though for 1 second? Probably not. I'm gonna this up to 75% and re-render the whole thing. And I'm gonna end the stream here. I think we got enough done today. We got the 3D camera track done. I might tweak it more later to get it more perfect since I have a few days before I have to post this. But thanks everyone who stopped by and hung out and kept me company while I was working through this. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. That is gonna end the stream. Whoa!